and I wish you the best of luck in the future. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming out and celebrating a very special day for the class of 2013. I'd like to start off with a few thank yous. Thank you to my fellow seniors for this amazing high school experience. We're a very close class, and waking up to go to school for the past 12 years has been enjoyable, knowing I got to see you guys again. Thank you to the staff and administration for providing a great learning environment and teaching us more than just school subjects. Thank you also for putting up with us for the past 4 years. While we're on the subject of staff, I want to take this time to sincerely apologize to whoever misdeed that with a paper football that hit her directly between the eyes. My bad. Last but not least, thank you parents and family. No one sitting down here would be where they're at today without the help and guidance from you throughout the years. So, Mom, Dad, Brooke, and the rest of the Sweeney Gilson clan, thank you so much for everything you've done for me and making me into the man I am today. This time, I would like to remember a former Summerfield student who wasn't able to be here with us today. Kyle Hurst was called home to the Lord in January of 2011 after a long struggle with brain cancer. Everybody who knew Kyle was a better person because of the impact he left on us. I know at this exact moment he's looking down on us right now with a huge smile on his face. So about 4 years ago, my sister was in this exact position that I'm in, giving a speech to her class, the senior class of 2009. And when I first found out she was giving a speech, I looked at her in disbelief. I asked her if she was nervous, standing in front of all those people. They're not good. I asked her if some advice in the speech, and she gave me some great advice. And when she found out that I was giving a speech, she said that mine wouldn't have anything on hers. So I saw that as a challenge. Brooke, challenge accepted. So let me start off by asking you guys something. Do you remember your first day of high school? Do you remember how nervous or scared or even excited you were? I followed Spike around all day because his sister was a senior and she knew him way around the school. You know, they told me a story where he asked Miss D where his first class was, and after she told him, he was like, he just kind of ran to his next class. He was so scared. Seems like just yesterday that we entered these halls. Let's take a look back at some memorable moments that happened throughout our years. Do any of you guys remember in Mrs. Miller's CAD class in middle school when we put Joey in that big box about the size of the podium and gave him to Miss Stanford as a gift? And sorry, Corey, remember when he stuck the paper clip in the outlet and jacked his hand a little bit? You know that was coming. And not to mention our latest beach party in front of the school. Seems like just yesterday we were in Mr. Raymond's class looking ahead and talking about graduation our sophomore year. A lot of people became sad, and I think Sam actually started crying. I tried to make it all better and say, guys, we're just sophomores. Not knowing that these next few years are some of those that will fly by in the blink of an eye. Everything, though, must come to an end. And to be honest, I'm still a bit shocked that my days here at Summerfield are over. I'm sure someday I'll look back on these years and reminisce on the great times and memories that I've made. I'm sure I'll hear people say that they wish they could go back to relive their high school experience. But if someone came up to me and offered me a chance to go back, I would graciously say no thank you. I've done my time in Summerfield. I've loved it. I made some great memories with people that I'll never forget. Even though they were some of the best times of my life thus far, I wouldn't want to go back. The fact that I can't go back is what makes it so great. Going back to relive the memory and take away from the moment, it wouldn't feel as special as it did the first time. It just wouldn't mean much if I could relive it. Instead, I look to the future. I see this blank canvas that can be shaped and created into anything that I want. And that's what I encourage each one of you guys to do. Whether you go to college, enter the military, or just enter the workforce, the future is whatever you make it. I've had a great privilege to spend my years in this school with each one of you. And being in the small school of Summerfield, we probably talked more than once or twice. I know for a fact that all of you have the potential to do something amazing in this world. I'm confident that each one of you will lead successful and enjoyable lives. In conclusion, I would like to share a song lyric with you guys. This lyric comes from a Brad Casey song where he writes a letter back to himself at 17. He says, "Have no fear, because these are nowhere near the best years of our lives. So don't fear the future, because the best is yet to come." Thanks so much.
Kelly's crying.
Good job, Steve and Brad. It was going to be a tough act to follow here. Graduates, faculty, Board of Education, parents, family, and friends, it's my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker this afternoon. Mrs. Kaylani Ray Rathko Wilson is a true Monroe County celebrity. She has utilized her status and visibility to give back to her community. In 1988, Mrs. Wilson became the first registered nurse to be crowned Miss America. During her reign, she brought national attention to the profession of nursing, hospice programs, and critical healthcare issues, including cancer and AIDS. Since that time, she has devoted her professional life to these issues, which are very close to her heart. Kaylani has traveled to 49 states and 6 countries, addressing nurses, hospice, and AIDS groups. She has addressed a congressional subcommittee in Washington, D.C. about nurses, including the nursing shortage, salaries, improving working conditions, educational funding, and has prepared public service announcements nationally for nurses, volunteers, and hospice programs. Monroe County is Kaylani's home. Since her reign as Miss America, she married her husband and is raising her children in Monroe County and has become very involved in local organizations such as United Way, Right to Life, March of Dimes, Boy and Girl Scouts, Make-A-Wish Foundation, American Red Cross, and other civic organizations such as pharmacy, medical, and hospital associations. Kaylani has been a friend of Summerfield schools for many years. In fact, her first home was in Summerfield after Chuck and she were married. I appreciate you wearing your orange and black today as well. She is currently the executive director of Abby's Ladder Family Grief Center in Monroe and the owner of the Nutritious Village Club in Dundee. It is my great pleasure to welcome Kaylani back to Summerfield.
Well, they were tough acts to follow, and I'm like, why do you even need me here? Those guys, you did awesome. Thank you so much.